Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Karen and this is my September wrap-up. So in the month of September I read 5 books, and I read some books that were absolutely fantastic, and then I also read some books that were slightly underwhelming, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about them. I am going to talk about my least favorite book first, all the way up to my most favorite. So unfortunately, my least favorite book of the month was The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. I have been looking forward to reading this for so long, pretty much since the moment I found out it existed. Fortunately, I was just not really in love with it. If you don't know what The Miniaturist is about, which is probably a very small percentage of you because the book really blew up when it was first published, it follows Nella, who is a 19-year-old girl who marries a wealthy tradesman in 1600s in Amsterdam. She moves from her kind of country town to the big city to go ahead and live with him. But when she gets there, she realizes that things are not how she imagined they would be. He is incredibly distant and he has a very imposing sister. So you really follow Nella as she's navigating her new role. And the miniaturist title comes in because her husband gives her a miniature home as a gift. So it's basically like a dollhouse, but it is an exact replica of the house that they live in. And she gets a miniaturist who is a very mysterious character and who somehow knows things about Nella's private life that they're just not supposed to know. So before I talk about the reason why I gave this book 3 stars, I am going to talk about the things that I thought Jessie Burton did really well and the things that I really enjoyed about it. For one, I loved how well done the historical setting was. She really takes you back in time, and I just really enjoyed reading about the workings of daily life. Another thing that I really enjoyed was the relationships between the women in this book. So now on to the things that I didn't like. For one, I didn't like that I was in no point surprised. This book has a couple of twists and I saw all of them coming. So one of the things that happens in this book is that everybody has a secret except for Nella, because you know her, right? She is a narrator, she's telling you the story. But all of the other people have a secret, and the big secret, so for example, the secret of Nella's husband, the secret of Nella's sister-in-law, I felt like they were so obvious. And it got to a point in the book where I was just like, is this a soap opera? Because Jessie Burton is taking all the easy ways out. And I know that a lot of people may disagree with me, but I just, like I said, I was never at any point surprised. And that really lessens the experience for me. Another thing that I didn't love is that there is no high point in this book. It just goes down. More depressing, more depressing, more depressing, more depressing. Nella's situation goes from bad to worse, and I just didn't enjoy reading it. Then I read Emma by Jane Austen. You probably know what Emma is about as well. It follows Emma Woodville, who is a very rich girl who loves matchmaking. So she gets into all this trouble because she's always trying to set up people. And I hope that you can see me because the sun's right there and it's setting right now, and I hope that the lighting isn't horrible. But yeah, this was a very funny novel. It was quite big, which is the reason why I gave it 4 stars. I think that just with any Jane Austen novel, and any classic really, I get bored kind of in the middle, even if I love the characters and even if I love the story. And the reason why is just because of the way that it is written, right? It's a classic, so it's gonna be written in a different kind of way. However, it was enjoyable, it was great. I think that Emma's character is one of the ones that has the most character development. Then another 4-star read was Vincent and Theo, the Van Gogh brothers by Deborah Hellingham. So I picked this up because I'm obsessed with Vincent van Gogh, and he's just my absolute favorite painter of all time. And I saw this at the library and I was just like, I have to get it. It's so beautiful. This follows the relationship between Vincent and his brother Theo. Theo was incredibly important in Vincent's life. He really pushed his brother. He really believed in his talent when nobody else did. So that relationship is really beautiful. And the thing for me about this book that was interesting was that I didn't know what to make of it at the beginning. I had no idea what it was trying to be and what it was trying to become. And you do see a progression, like the book does get better as it goes on because you kind of realize what it is. And the book essentially is a non-fiction book for younger readers. If you're somebody that does not know anything about Vincent van Gogh, you could pick this up, read it really quickly, understand it because it's super easy to read, super accessible, and love it. But for me, as somebody that knows a lot about Vincent van Gogh, it was just kind of a continuation of the same thing. Then on to my 5-star reads of the month. So this was hard because I didn't know which one to put first and then which one to talk about last because I adored both of these books. But I decided that my second favorite book of the month was Lincoln in the Bardo by George Sanders. You've probably heard about this because it has made it to the shortlist of the Man Booker Prize, and I haven't read the other books on the shortlist, but if this ends up winning, then I will not be surprised. This book was just beautiful. So it takes place over the course of one night. It is very experimental in the writing style. It is unlike any other book that I have ever read, and it follows Abraham Lincoln's son Willie while he is in the Bardo. He is not the main character of the story. We actually have two protagonists who have been in the Bardo for a really long time, and they are telling us the story. And the Bardo is this place between life and whatever comes after death. And the people who are there can't move on, whether that would be because they still feel like they have things that they haven't accomplished, or because they're afraid, or because they're waiting for somebody. And it is not good for children to stay in the Bardo for a long period of time. But Willie does not want to leave because Abraham Lincoln, his father, has come to visit him. One of the things that I was worried about before picking up this book was that I didn't understand how the author was going to be able to have those key moments of emotion in this book with the way that he wrote it, right? It is written in a way that is so experimental and so strange and different, and sometimes it's just dialogue. Sometimes you read page after page after page and it's just dialogue. There's no description. It really is the type of book that you have to stick with it because the first couple of pages are going to be hard to deal with just because of the way that it is written. This book is so worth it. It is absolutely amazing. And then my favorite book of the month was North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I fell in love with Gaskell's writing. She is just fantastic, and I want to read everything that she has ever written. So North and South follows Margaret Hale, who is our wonderful heroine, and she lives in the Victorian era. This is a Victorian book, and she used to live in the South, where it's all country and pretty, and then she moves to the North, to a town called Milton. I really love the social critiques in this book. I think that Gaskell makes really fantastic observations. I love the main romantic interest. I love that the differences between him and Margaret were really rooted on just the way that they viewed life, and I loved that he was a working man, and I just thought that this was a fantastic book, and I would recommend everybody to pick it up, especially this month, which is Victober. If you have not read North and South and you are planning to do Victober, then I highly recommend that you pick this up because I am telling you it's going to be a fantastic read. So yeah, the sun has completely disappeared and I am going to stop talking now. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. So bye.